$300,000 or $400 allocated this year for phase one of the project. And now that council has a vision for the space, the director, I believe, would like to present what the work that they would intend to do this year. Director Walsh, I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Worship. So, thank you for laying that out. I am here tonight just to present to council the planned phase one project for the Harkins development with the funds that were available in the 2024 budget for this season. So, I guess with the recent approval of the Harkins and Memorial Recreation Hub by council, we're ready to present council with a firmer scope of the work that we're going to be planning to carry out. As initially discussed, the plan that we were looking at doing was a gravel parking lot and a basketball court to start, but I just want to give council a little bit of a presentation here on what we are planning and give a little more detail than that. So the funds have been budgeted in the 2024 capital. We have received funding confirmation from RDC to make up their portion of the funds for this year. It's expected that what I'm presenting to you guys tonight will definitely fall underneath the current amount of funding that has been budgeted for this year. So taking a look at the plan that I have here on the screen, this is the plan, the overall plan, I guess, of the approved Harkins designs. So you can see the areas that we will be working on is the parking area located, more to the right of the screen here, and then also the far upper corner where the multi-use basketball court was identified next to the pickleball courts and skate park. So those are the two that we're working on now. Obviously, the parking area was one of the things we wanted to address when purchasing the Harkins property. So we have parking for this development as well as the sports field. And we've also had funds in the past couple budgets. We were just trying to confirm location on creating a basketball court on the north side of the city, since we have none. So this is the area that we will be planning to go ahead with this year. So this is a further view of the multi-use court area. So you'll see upper left corner would be basketball courts. So this basketball court will be a multi-use court. We'll have multiple different lines with the intention of being able to be used for ball, hockey, basketball, or even soccer on site. It will contain, so our current pricing, what we're looking at before we, if everything's planning on sending out to tender to complete this work into the fall. It also includes court surfacing, fencing, and we also are including commercial basketball hoops with acrylic backboards into this design instead of our traditional just steel fan basketball courts to get the, the extra little bit and nice design area. I know there was some discussions on let's make some nicer ones than our regular ones, and it is something that we're considering, and with the funding we believe that we're able to do that. So that's the court area. You'll see to the right the entrance coming off of Station Street, where we currently have a parking lot or a driveway coming in where this area is used currently for parking for the ball field. That will be closed off with a pedestrian gate, allow us to have access, and you see a pedestrian trail that runs from Station Street, and that trail will continue down over the hill towards the entrance from the former Harkins property. So this is the engineering diagram that we laid out here over the past couple of weeks after that approval. So you'll see crushed rock parking lot, not asphalt, not concrete. It was identified in the plan as we'll go with the crushed rock first, just in case there is future development. As I think you guys are aware, there's, I believe, an RFP being developed for that Harkins property up above. So any paving could possibly be done at a future, during a future phase. We're going to use the existing road coming off of Newcastle Boulevard, which is asphalt, to get to the space. Provide that crushed rock parking lot with a pedestrian entrance into that is currently already there into the Memorial Ball Field site, and continue on with the gravel trail, which will be a crushed stone trail to connect that pedestrian walkway to the upper area, as well as to the current walking track, which the public uses. Outside of that, I think the only other thing that I haven't mentioned is you'll see some selective tree planting that we've identified as well in different areas. These are to be confirmed on actual locations at a later date to ensure that there's no effect on the baseball field for one, but the intention is to put some trees into this location to provide some shade in the area for people using the court spaces. These areas are, I believe Jim's, if I go back to Jim's slide, I do believe that it identifies some selective tree planting throughout the space, which was a request at the time during the design to have it approved. So this is the 2024 work. We're in the process right now. I think it was broken down to 3 phases when it was presented by Mr. Scott. So this would be phase 1 of now 4, because this is not a full of phase 1, and we're working on possibly phasing it over a 4-year approach or even a 5-year approach, depending on what other capital requests that we do have. But we are working on a broken down phase report, but this would be phase 1 of the Harkins project.
Thank you,
Open to any
Director
questions.
Walsh. Yeah, any questions or comments from members of council? Councillor Lacey?
The surface of the basketball court, is it paved surface, painted, or what?
No, it is the court surfacing that we would get. It's, I believe, an acrylic surface similar to what we have on our tennis courts right now. Where it's a fresh pave, it's expected that everything will be level, and that court surfacing would be,
Okay.
you know, in this situation would last longer than what.
Cool. And I'm happy to see the better rims, because my jump shot over in Howard Street has been looking pretty ganky off those prison yard rims. So I'll have to head over to Newcastle to practice my jump shot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Councillor. I should be practicing my shots as well after having gone 0 for 13 against the Special Olympics. Looks great, Director Walsh. I appreciate especially the trees, and we know it gets hot out there these days, and shade coverings are always to be top of mind, I think, in everything we do now. Just one question, and not that I really, just so I understand, is the basketball court going to be fenced in?
Yeah, it is, Your Worship.
It
Sorry,
is.
if I didn't mention that,
Okay.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. It is in the picture, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Here? Yeah, no, that's good. Water access or tap access to fill water bottles, fountain, that kind of thing. Is that part of anywhere in the scope of like this broader project or this phase? Or I know it comes up on the Howard Street Park quite a bit. Is just the lack of access to water in hot days.
Yeah, so this site, I know when we looked at the site, any water access, we were trying to get closer, I believe, to the Newcastle Boulevard section. I think if I remember right on the final design, which I might be able to go back here. You can see kind of near the parking area, I believe, that where the structure building is out behind center field. The intention was try to bring water close to there because it was the closest place to be, but that is not. That'd probably be somewhere down the road in a phase 3 area. Right now, I think the only water that we have anywhere on that site is to the clubhouse coming off of Campbell Street. So it is identified in a later phase to try to get it into that space. But unfortunately, nothing on the upper part right now. It could be something we can look at and add to the plan. I'd have to confirm with Public Works and what type of availability and engineering, but yep.
Thanks. So as the director mentioned, if there's no further questions or comments at this time, so go ahead. Yeah.
Jason, excuse me, Director Walsh, I think I might embarrass myself here. I was listening. The trail that we're looking at here, that's a pedestrian trail, correct?
That is correct.
Just,
and
just on the one that I'm looking at here, the
service.
striped lines make it look as though it's
Yeah.
a roadway. But
Yeah,
it's
no,
pedestrian.
it's a pedestrian walkway from the top to the bottom, and we'll be able to use it as a servicing route too if we need to. But you know, the intention is to close that upper field once we start putting basketball courts in there to the general public for parking, and they'll have to use the parking space and enter the facility off of Newcastle Boulevard. This is something you see in a lot of recreational hub areas.
Yep, perfect. Looks awesome. And I guess for Director Shanahan here, crushed rock over asphalt. I like crushed rock, obviously, but is that problematic for you plowing in the wintertime, or?
No, we can work around it. It's the first 2 storms, it becomes an issue, but as long as we watch what we're doing. Probably some, depends on what's in there for infrastructure. We
Yeah.
probably will for security reasons more than anything.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, and if there's anything else, feel free, just to mention, of course, this money is already budgeted in last year's capital budget. The design was approved by council, so tonight was for information purposes to explain what is now referred to as Phase 1. So Director Walsh, you'll be tendering this work, I believe, is the next step?
Sorry, so yeah, we are working with the engineering department on getting further design to have this ready to go out to tender with the expectation of doing it this fall.
Great. Councilor Harris?
Yeah, just Director Wall, maybe you should probably send a note or something off to the River Hoops and Jim Waters, where they said they'd put some money into this project, probably for your nets, for to help Chad with his jump shot, probably be good for that, so.
Great. Thanks, everyone. So we'll move on now. The next item is Island View Drive paving. There was a letter